Warm greetings all. Myself Heba Paul. My seminar topic is loads on bridges. Bridges are structures which pass over an obstacle such as water, valley, or road, etc. There are different types of bridges. Some are arch bridges, suspension bridges, truss bridges, beam bridges, etc. Coming at the topic, types of loads on bridges. The design of loads are very important for creating the design of bridge. Different types of loads include dead load, live load, and it range up to seismic loads. First one is dead load. Dead load is the self weight of the structure. The self weight imposing structure elements of the structure include dead slab, bearing cord, railings, parapet, etc. It is the first design load to be calculated in the design of bridge. Other than self-weight, superimposed dead loads are caused by concrete fillings, finishing concretes, leveling concretes, etc. Second type of load is live load. It is a moving load on the bridge due to vehicles, pedestrians, etc. There were many vehicles moving on bridge from cycle to 16-wheel big vehicles. So IRC recommended some imaginary vehicles as live load. As per IRC 6 2016, vehicle loadings can be categorized into mainly 4 types: IRC Class 70R loading, Class AA loading, Class A loading and Class B loading. First one is Class 70R loading. This is normally adopted for all roads on which permanent bridges and culverts are constructed. And in this figure we can see they designed a vehicle with 35 ton each on each wheels and 0.84 width of the wheels, and the distance between the wheels are 2.9 meter. For Class 70R loading, the Class A loading also checked. And second loading type is Class AA loading. These are for municipal limits in certain existing and upcoming industrial areas. This loading is also checked for Class A loading. Generally, 2 types of vehicles are considered in this loading: track type and wheel type. In track type, the wheels are connected in the track format, and in this code also IRC recommended the distance between the wheels and the loads coming on each wheels and the width of the wheels. Next one is wheel type. Here also we can see the different loads coming on the wheels and the spacing between the wheels. Next type of loading is Class A loading. These are designed for all permanent bridges. It is considered as the standard live load of bridge. IRC designed a Class A train of vehicles, and it also given the loads coming on each wheels and the distance between the wheels, and the minimum distance between 2 vehicles are given as 18.5. And Class B loading is used for design of temporary bridges like timber bridge. It is considered as light loading. Here we can see the load is coming on the vehicle is lower than the loading coming on Class A loading, a Class A train of vehicles. Next type of load is impact load. It is due to sudden loads of vehicle moving on the bridge. When the wheel is in movement, the live load change from one wheel to another. This results in impact load. To consider this impact load, impact factor is used as a safety factor and it is multiplied. Thereby, we can obtain a good approximation of maximum dynamic deflection and stress. Impact factor for reinforced concrete bridge equal to 4.5 by 6 plus L, and for steel bridge equal to 9 by 13.5 plus L. This L is span of the bridge. Impact factor for different IRC loadings are given here. For span less than 9 meter track to wheel, Impact factor is taken as 25% up to 5 meter and 10% from 5 meter to 9 meter, and also it is also given for wheeled vehicle, tracked vehicle, and it is also given for greater than 9 meters. This impact factor is used in the design for impact load. This is based on IRC recommendation. Fourth one is wind load. For short span bridge, wind load can be negligible. Medium span bridge, it is considered for substructure design, and for long span bridge, it is considered for design of superstructure. And fifth type of load is longitudinal forces. These are caused by braking or accelerating a vehicle. When the vehicle suddenly stops or accelerates, this will affect the bridge. So IRC recommends 20% of live load should be considered as longitudinal force on the bridges. Sixth one is centrifugal force. When the bridge is built on a horizontal curve, the movement of vehicle along the curve will cause the centrifugal force, and it can be calculated by the equation C equal to WV square by 12.7 into R. R is the radius of curve and V is the descent speed. Buoyancy force is considered for substructure of bridges submerged under deep water. Next one is forces by water current. This induces horizontal forces on the submerged portion. This is maximum at the top of the water level and zero at the bottom level. And it can be found by the equation P pressure equal to kW V square by 2G. K is a constant, W is the unit weight of the water, and V is the water current velocity. Next one is thermal stresses. These are caused due to temperature. When the temperature is very high or low, they induce stress in the bridge elements, especially at the bearings and deck joints. These stresses are tensile in nature, so concrete cannot withstand it. To resist this, additional steel reinforcement are given and expansion joints are also provided. Tenth one is seismic stresses. These are mainly considered in seismic prone areas. This causes both vertical and horizontal forces. This mainly depend upon the self weight of the structure. As the structure weight is more, large force will be exerted. Next one is deformation horizontal effects. Deformation are caused due to the material property changes. This can cause creep, that is long-term deformation, and shrinkage of the concrete. Horizontal force also develop due to temperature changes, braking of vehicles, earthquakes, etc. Erection stresses are induced by the construction equipment during the bridge construction. These also can be resisted by providing suitable supports for the members. So these are the main types of loads acting on bridges. These are my references. Thank you.